Hey guys, it's Miss Adams, and we're going to be looking at rational versus irrational numbers, and we're looking at the homework problems. So I know they're kind of hard to see, so I apologize for that. But this first question is, these are all multiple choice questions, and it says, which set below includes only irrational numbers? So we're looking for things without terminating decimals, without repeating decimals. Irrational numbers are some square roots that don't simplify. So let's just look here. I've got negative square root of 12. That doesn't simplify. But I've got that negative 3.76 repeating. That's rational. So I know A cannot be the choice. I've got negative 7.2322. So we'll come back to B. But let's just look at the rest of them. C has a repeating. And it has the square root of 81. So therefore, C is it has rational values in it. And also D has a repeating 7 there, so it also contains rational values. So B would be the correct answer choice. Number 2 is asking us to do the same thing. So it says, which set contains only irrational numbers? So if I'm looking at this, well, I know the square root of 4 simplifies to 2, so it's not A. I know the square root of 64 simplifies to 8, so it's not B. I know the square root of 16 simplifies to 4, so it's not C, which means D has to be the choice. And if I'm looking at those radicans underneath the rational symbols here, or underneath the radical symbols here, 50 is not a perfect square, 13 is not a perfect square, 10 is not perfect, neither is 54. That leads us to the problem 5. I don't know what happened at 3 and 4, but problem 5 says, which of the following is an irrational number? So I know an irrational number cannot be written as a fraction, so it can't be A. C is a perfect square because the square root of 81 is 9, so it can't be C. D has a terminating decimal, so it can't be D. So our only correct answer choice here is B. And that's because the square root of 24 is not a perfect square, so it is an irrational number. Which list contains only rational numbers? So this is a little bit different choice here. Looking at this, I know the square root of 8. I'm just going to go through some of these answer choices that are automatically standing out to me. Square root of 8 is not a perfect square, so I know B can't be an option. Square root of 24 is not a perfect square, so I know D can't be an option. So that leaves me with A and C. Now this last one on A is kind of hard to read, but it says the square root of 9 over 4. And this is a topic that we didn't really get into all that much, but 9 is a perfect square and 4 is a perfect square. So that can be simplified to the square root of 9 over the square root of 4. Square root of 9 becomes 3, square root of 4 becomes 2. So that would make A our rational choice here. And then number 7 says what type of number is the square root of 26. This is an irrational number because 26 is not a perfect square. All right, guys, I hope that clears up some of the rational versus irrational. Remember, when we're looking for rationals, let's go back to those terms again. Rationals are going to be our whole numbers with terminating decimals, repeating decimals, or perfect squares. Irrational numbers are numbers that are real numbers but cannot be written as a fraction. So those are never-ending decimals, anything with pi, and then our non-perfect squares and cubes. Thanks, guys.